Hey guys, it's Abby with MotorCityNerds. Hi to all new subscribers. Welcome. I've really been slacking, but also, I'm going to be honest with you guys. If you could like the video, that would really help me out because YouTube hates small content creators. But I forgot to do a House of the Dragon episode 3 review because it was so dumb and boring. I'm going to be real with you. If you're new here, I love this. I break things down for everybody, but Game of Thrones and A Song of Ice and Fire and all that is my main jam. I really love it a lot, so I don't want things to come off that way, but film is the thing I love the most. So my brain is constantly battling of, did they do this right for film and adapting it or whatever? Or was this stupid, or was this change worth it? You know what I'm saying? So bear with me here, but when you have an entire episode that's just filler, that's just strategy with way too much padding in it, and then we do this. You guys want to know my favorite thing? And everybody's like, this was the greatest scene ever in anything, was Rhaenyra and Alicent talking, and I'm like, oh, you mean the conversation that meant nothing to the plot? The war's already started. There's nothing we can do. We spent 15 minutes having a conversation where we went, oopsie daisy, and just to hate these women even more. I'm just saying, like, what? Why? What? That was the whole episode. Tell me what happened in that episode that I really needed to talk about. You want to talk about the ghosts of Harrenhal? Harrenhal's cursed. Bing, bang, boom, done. It's cursed. It's cursed. But is it really cursed, or are we making it up? Arya calls herself the ghost of Harrenhal for a minute, and it's a whole thing. Game of Thrones does that very well of, was it magic? Was it this? Is it ghosts? Is it that? And I love that about it. But when we spend 2 minutes of Daemon going, we got it. We got it. We got it. It's haunted, it's scary, and he's creeping around. You don't need to spend all this time doing it. I'm not saying things weren't cool, but dumb. Dumb. I can see it for what it is, and it's not the content that's going on. It's not the acting. It's not anything like that. It's you blatantly padded this. And the problem with that, and what irritates me, because I'm going to get real with you guys now, I don't think this is that great. People might get offended at what I'm saying. Don't let it hurt your feelings too bad. I still love this. I'm still having a great time. I still think it's very good. But this ain't nothing to write home about. This ain't no top tier thing that we're getting. We're getting, here, let me pad this out so we can give you guys 8 episodes instead of giving you 7 or 6 or whatever, because that will keep the masses happy. Because if we go less than 8, everybody will compare it to Game of Thrones and go, it sucks, it's terrible. But the truth is, people were only mad about Game of Thrones because Daenerys didn't end up on the throne. Newsflash, she was never going to end up on the throne. That's what it is, and I'll stand on that, and I've got 20 videos about it. But let's get into episode 4. Let's get into episode 4. So, I got my laptop. We're pretending like I know what I'm doing. But that's just what I mean. I'm like, we don't need 4 minutes of all these things elongated out and you talking funny just so that you guys can feel like you gave us more content when you really gave us nothing. It's gypping us. It's gypping the viewer. It's not anything else. I'm not taking anything away what people have done on this. What I'm saying is they're gypping us. Here's what we get out of Daemon and his haunted house shit. The Strongs are there, remember? That is the father of Fuck Up Foot and the guy who fathered Rhaenyra's kids, Harwin Strong, rest in peace, he was the best. He's there. That lady who's a witch or whatever, she's a bastard of that house. Spoiler alert, she kind of gets with Aemond. It's kind of a thing, but we're not going to get into that right now. But yeah, she's kind of like a witch, or she's kind of into just potions and potuses and all those cool things. It isn't her doing ghost stuff. It's Harrenhal itself. I'm getting the vibe from Daemon getting these flashbacks with the young Rhaenyra. He really feels bad. Not only does he feel bad, you hate your wife. Right? He hates her. In his subconscious, he's cutting off her head. He's taking the crown. He does not like her. Or he's having, maybe not hate, but he's definitely having a feeling towards being taken out of the line of succession. And we're getting that more and more through his subconscious. The other thing I really liked them doing with him creeping about, I didn't mind the creeping about in this episode as much as I did last episode. Like I said, we took way too long of him creeping around last episode, but that entire episode was pointless. 90% of that episode was pointless. You could have got all that information in 20 minutes, and they just stretched it out. Boring as hell. And I totally forgot even to do a review, and it's what I do. Daemon is feeling bad. Daemon's feeling bad. He's feeling bad about blood and cheese. He's feeling a certain kind of way, but we're starting to see how he really feels deep down. He's questioning himself. But the one vision I really liked in this, and then this is the part that irks me too, is when people go, book people are ruining it for us, but people that don't read the books are asking the questions. And then when you get the answer, you're saying they're ruining it, and vice versa. I'm not coming at this like a book reader all the time. Like I said, I'm coming at this from a, was this put on screen well? Because some of it is not. But one thing they did really well, and everybody's just kind of playing it off, is the reason he sees himself dressed up like Aemond is because he's afraid of Aemond, or has a fear of him, because he sees himself in Aemond, the second son. He sees how ferocious and fearsome he can be. He sees himself in Aemond, a younger version of him. So he's like, I gotta get a handle on this. That's why he sees himself dressed like Aemond. That's why he sees him as a threat. It isn't anything other than that. And I really loved that. That was really cool. But then I get online and people are like, oh, haha, look at this funny thing they're doing. And then people ask and go, well, why is it like that? And if you say that answer, everyone's telling you you're a stupid idiot moron who doesn't know what they're talking about. And I'll be honest with you, I really don't like dealing with this fandom online already. It's not very fun. It used to be, but this is just what happens when things get big. So it is what it is. But if you want to act stupid in the comments and just be a pissy little jerk, I'll be a pissy little jerk right back. I don't mind questions. I don't mind feeling different, because here's the thing too. These after the show podcasts and the house that dragons built is bullshit. It's bullshit. It's an employee telling everybody how to feel, and you are taking away from what film is, which is, how did I feel about it? How did you feel about it? How did they feel about it? So then me and you can go, no, I took this from it. And then you can say, no, Abby, I took that from it. They are taking all of that away by putting that shit up and going, hey, feel like this. You're wrong if you don't feel that way, because me, I made it. And it's like, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. Let's get back to the episode. We're pissed off. He's pissed off at the Tullys. Daemon's pissed off at the Tullys because they didn't send their liege lord. The reason he's getting irritated, they didn't send the man in charge. He wanted the man in charge. By sending your heir, it looks a little disrespectful. That's it. That's all. The Tullys have the best armor. It's my favorite. Bing, bang, boom. Anyway, that's all you need to know with Daemon. And the way he keeps getting called King Consort and Your Grace is some bullshit. He shouldn't be getting called Your Grace. That's not right. You cannot be referred to as that because you are not the ruling monarch. The reason he cannot be called king is because a king in the line is above a queen. It's just like with the Queen of England when she was in charge. You know how all the men were called prince? Yeah, because you cannot have a title above the queen. He is acting a certain kind of way with that, adding to how he feels with these visions. And we're taking way too long with it and thinking we're like auteur with it, when really it's just boring. Oh, let's talk about this. The werewood bed. Dumb. I don't like that. It's like we are putting way too much into things that they're going to have to keep up with later if they keep going with this world that before were ambiguous. So like I said, we could play the game of, like with Daenerys having kids in Game of Thrones. Did she lose the kids due to magic? Or did she lose the kids because you have incest genes for generations? We can play that game in our head because of the lore, but now they are setting things in stone that I think it's going to be really hard for them to get away from. And if you've been around on the channel, you know I've been making 30 videos for the last 4 years, even before this came out, about how the names are going to become a problem, the look is going to become a problem, having this spaced out, having it come out 2 years apart, it's going to be a problem, and it's going to be hard for the average viewer. And you want to know what a lot of people said in the comments? Then they don't need to watch it, and this is dumb. And I'm like, no, you need to be smart, because we need the normies to enjoy this just as much as us freaks. That way, we get the funding it needs, and it stays going. But the way it's going, I don't think people are digging this the same way they were digging Game of Thrones. Let's get to the bastards. Like I keep saying, you keep bringing these bastards up, and at least with Corlys, those two black guys are his bastards, and they're cool. They're cool characters. They end up being a pretty big deal. But Hugh the Hammer, the guy with the sick kid, all these bastards they keep showing in the tavern, and all these things are, you're not giving them anything to do on screen. It has nothing to do with the characters. It has nothing to do with it being bad or good. It has to do with fundamentally on screen, what the shit are they there for? What are they there for? Why are you introducing them now, just walking around talking about stew? Why do you have this guy walking around dropping the word dragon seed, which is huge, but there's no goal or no nothing. We have no attachment to these characters, so we're not going to care. So this episode I really loved when Rhaenys is talking to his bastard, but they're not saying that outright. So if you don't know that, my mom thought they were trying to get one over on Corlys before. In the other episode, she was like, oh, they want something out of him. I don't trust them. And I go, no, they're he's their dad. And she's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, that's their dad. That's why they're saying he owes us. And it's Alan and Adam. And I love them. They're cool. I'm really excited for them. But this episode did well when Rhaenys is like, you know who I am. I know who you are. That's what they're saying. But we're going about it in this way where I could see the average viewer going, I don't know what's happening. And remember that Corlys's legacy continues to get brought up and how much Rhaenys wants him to have that, knowing that Jace and them are not his blood. So she wants him to have that, and I think she's grateful to be seeing that and going, okay, I'm kind of pissed because I know you were banging somebody behind my back, but also I'm happy for you. And I loved when she said what Catelyn Stark couldn't say. It's not his fault. It's not his fault for being born. It's not. What you did and what she did is not his fault. He's innocent, and I really liked that. And she said he should be rose up and honored, not hidden beneath the tides, Corlys. You're fucking up here. Oh, one little thing I liked was Alicent holding the little dragon piece that she fixed for Viserys in season 1. That piece she drops. And then the Maester, dirty sneaky rats. I don't trust one Maester in the Seven Kingdoms. None of them. Except for Maester Aemon, the greatest Targaryen. But I do not trust Maesters. The Maesters and the High Towers eventually killed the dragons. I have a whole video on that. You can check it out. I'm sure there's 20 billion videos about it online with 8 million views that are bots. But we talk about that over here. The Maesters and the High Towers are playing the long game to kill off all the dragons because they are too big of a variable and too much power. So I don't trust him. So the black guy Maester, gray robes, who brings her the moon tea. That's essentially an abortion. That's like the Plan B pill is what it is. And essentially they're showing way too long and taking way too long to do it that everybody knows you're banging Kristen Cole, Alicent. Fuck Up Foot knows. The Maester knows. Sir Eric knew. And that's why Kristen Cole sent him to Dragonstone to get rid of him. Because he knew it was a suicide mission. And he was like, well, where were you? Because we all knew where you were. We're insinuating that. And there's too much insinuating going on without somebody outright saying it. And like I said, I think we are dilly-dallying with things. And it's not that I dislike it, but it's, in my opinion, we need to move faster, and you need to stop treating your audience like they're dumb babies, but also not giving them information at all. So everybody knows that she's banging him. Everybody knows. And then she's drinking moon tea, and everybody knows. Notes say, everybody knows you're banging. Get real. What are my notes? Oh, so Jace is getting a little lippy because Rhaenys says that. Because remember Rhaenyra had to run to King's Landing to have a pointless conversation. So that happened. So Rhaenyra is not at Dragonstone. And Daemon's daughter and Jace, Rhaenyra's son, are struggling keeping this court in order. So she's like, hey, Granny, I need you to come back me up. So not only does Rhaenys come to back her up in this court, but when Corlys shows up and is like, yeah, you're going to pipe down and listen to what we're saying. Remember that the show is very much, ever since the start of season 1, about how maybe women know what they're talking about, and maybe they're keeping things in order, but you don't want to listen to that. But they listen when Corlys shows up, so I really liked that subtle going on. And then they're all going, well, where's she at? Where's she at? And Jace is getting awfully lippy, but I love him for that because he just wants to keep his mom happy. He's also getting a little bit too big for his britches, but that's understandable. He's a teenage boy. Oh, and let me reiterate that all of the acting in this by everybody, even if I don't like their character, I'm not a psycho, there is very, very well done. So we show the court on Dragonstone and how it's getting kind of unruly over there. Then we show the court going on and the meetings in the council going on. I should be saying council, not court. Going on and in King's Landing. Now, I loved the speaking High Valyrian and seeing that Aegon didn't understand it. But of course he doesn't. And how are people on this guy? I don't understand. I don't understand how people are on his side, but whatevs. But we're really, really showing that Scar from the Lion King vibe coming out of Aemond, and we see how he might be better suited to rule and how he kind of pays attention to stuff, and he's dealing with the army, and he's talking to Cole, and they have this plan to go to Rook's Rest, but Aegon didn't know nothing about it, so he feels kind of slighted. And then we're talking in High Valyrian about how you ain't been doing shit, Aegon, but partying and putting stupid people on your council and putting stupid people on your Kingsguard, and you're a dumbass. And Aegon kind of knows you got me there, but Aemond is showing I'm kind of good at this. And I really liked Alicent not coming, and then Aegon going back and being like, where were you? What are you doing in here? Why are you looking? And why is she looking in history books? Dumb. That's another dumb thing that we're like, what is history going to do for you? What is history going to do for you? We're already there. It's already happening. And you had the conversation saying that. So why are we wasting screen time with this? As viewers, we deserve better and we deserve more. It's still very good. I'm still entertained. But people saying this is like Succession level or Sopranos level or Game of Thrones season 2 or 3 level, cut it. Shut up. It's fine. It's good. But we're here for the dragons. Let's get real, because this is becoming way too padded. But seriously, what are the history books going to do now? What are they going to do now, Allison? You just had a whole speech of this. And then stop trying to make her Tywin. Stop that. Because you keep doing this. You keep going, oh, here's the eggs from Daenerys. Oh, she's talking like Tywin. You're no son of mine. And then, oh, do you think a crown imbues you with wisdom? Oh, do you think a crown makes you king? Okay, Tywin, you guys are doing a real big thing of going, remember the other show? You remember that prophecy that's dumb? Remember the other show? Remember our other show that we did before? Stop reminding us of that. As viewers, stop it. What are these? You just had this character. You're playing flip-flopsy with Alicent Hightower. You're going, oh, it's too late. But now she's reading histories. Why? What does that do for us? The ball is rolling. The ball is going. We're done, so. These are my notes. You're busy doing dumb shit. Like I said, I did like Daemon talking to Alice Rivers. Now remember that bastards. So depending on where you're from, if you're a bastard like Jon Snow, he's of the north. If you're a bastard in Dorne, your last name is Sand. If you're a bastard in the Riverlands, it's Rivers, and so on and so forth. In the Eyrie, it's Stone. So that name means one of my parents matters. That's all you need to know. One of my parents is highborn. That's why I get a cool last name. People that just have bastards and are common don't get that. Your side. I know it feels like I'm because I am, but I'm not like some psychopath. Believe me. Can I just read my notes direct to you guys? Why is she even reading about history? This is dumb. Stop trying to make Alicent Tywin. You're a fucking idiot, Aegon. Oh, that brother, Alicent's brother's a real creep. I really don't like his face, but I did like him and Cole talking. Now, these horses. I've been waiting to see these horses in armor and all done up. They are the drippiest horses in Westeros. Bun B, Lord of the Seven Kingdoms and Protectors of the Realm is what I was calling them before. Big, terrible Westeros where legends are born. That's all I'm saying. But I love that. But the brother and Cole talking, and he's like, no, I'm rational, dumbass. And then we're finding out there's this whole little plot. And we're taking way too long to explain that. There's some plot going on. Now, if you're a book reader, you knew what was going to go down, right? Now, Vhagar is my favorite dragon ever. But Rhaenys is in one of my top. I'm Team Black, but Rhaenys is one of my favorite Targaryens ever. She's in my top 5. I love her. I love her dragon. I didn't want to see her or Sunfire or Meleys get hurt, but I knew it was coming. But Vhagar is a bad bitch. But we knew. But this is the interesting part about House of the Dragon, and I said this with Blood and Cheese, and it just happened somewhere else where I thought Aemon's going to try more than what we think, because in the book it's wrote like a historian wrote it, like a character in that world wrote Fire and Blood. So we only know what the winners of history wrote. So we knew certain things, like we knew Rhaenyra's first husband was rumored to be gay. It was rumored that she had a lover on the side. It was rumored, but there's no definitive evidence of those things. So same thing with the Battle of Rook's Rest. We know that Rhaenys could leave and didn't, and went back and fought anyway, knowing she was going to die, and said, no, fuck that. I know who I am. You have to also remember that Rhaenys and Meleys, this ain't their first rodeo. This ain't their first war. She knows, and she knows what this means. And she's like, let's go. Let's do this. And I love that about her, and I love it about that character, and that's why her death is shitty, but awesome at the same time. And it also shows the queen, who never was, who should have been ruler, going toe for toe against the king, and he wasn't shit. And I loved that, because I thought that would go a little bit longer, but the way she threw him into the dirt was awesome. But yeah, we explained this plot. Cole and the brother need to talk for 5 minutes before we get to it. And the production value is absolutely out of this world, though. But yeah, Vhagar was supposed to be there as a sneak attack. The king showing up drunk as shit, DUI Dragon King, DUI Dragon Riding. He shows up and gets smashed. Now, if you want to know what happens to Aegon, he's not dead, or he shouldn't be. He's all jacked up like Harvey Dent, and his dragon never fights again in the sky. It never does nothing again. Now, I don't like seeing a dragon get messed up, but you step up, you're going to get knocked down, and it is what it is. Don't drive your dragon drunk. How about that? Back to what I was saying, the interesting part is that we don't have these things about Aemond. Aemond was going to kill him, right? Like, you could argue he was putting his sword away. Why was your sword out? He was going to burn him. He did burn him. He burned them both. Like, that happened, and he purposely meant for that to happen. Also, just fun fact for you guys, a dragon is not a slave. These dragons do not adhere to every command. They don't have to. It has to do with they are very intelligent. Now, They will take them into consideration. But a dragon is not a slave. It ain't here to do every command you want, even if you are its rider. We do have a special bond, and the more close that bond is, the more likely it is to trust you. Not just do what you say, to trust you to commit to these actions. Or if it's just a whole thing. But it's kind of like warging, but from Game of Thrones, but not 100% is all. They can feel what the other is feeling a little bit. No, they are not taking direct commands from them. Because I see a lot of people going like, oh, well, how come they didn't do this? And how come they didn't tell it to do that? Because that dragon don't give a shit. That dragon will give a shit if it wants to give a shit. I have a Mastiff. If you have a large dog, a very large dog, you know what I'm talking about. You're like, I can train it to the best of my ability. I can do whatever. But if it decides to go, they're going. And there's no stopping it. We just make them believe we can stop it. If he really wants to go for something, it doesn't matter if I got a prong collar, a shock collar. It don't matter. It's going. And that's how I compare them to the dragons, where it's like, they can love you, they can have a bond with you, but if they go, they go. But Aemond was giving those commands. Aemond was telling Vhagar, it's all good. But Vhagar don't give a shit. Vhagar has been fighting since the day she was born. This is what she knows, and this is what she loves. But the little dragon talks before Sunfire nudging Aegon, oh my god. And I saw a really good comment on either Facebook or Twitter where somebody said, Sunfire is the only thing that truly loves Aegon. And I was like, oh my god, that's true. But when Rhaenys goes up to Meleys and says, we're off to battle again, old girl, she knew. She knew, and she knows what this entails. But let's get into that. I loved the dragon battle. I really did. I loved how quick she took Sunfire down, like you ain't shit. But the fact that she threw Vhagar into the dirt, that is no small feat. That is no easy feat. And yes, both times she knew, I'm going to die here. I'm going to put up my last fight, my last stand here. Next week, tomorrow, that'll be way more sad. That is way more sad. And then somebody said, well, there's dragon skulls at King's Landing. Yes, but those were taken in honor. Those weren't chopped off to be degraded. Those were that's being taken and going to be put through the streets for everybody to go, yeah, screw you. When the other ones like Balerion and all of those and their skulls were put up, that was honor. That was going, oh my god, look at this thing. This is not that. And it's going to be really sad. But the reason Rhaenys even says we're off to battle, old girl, is because, like I said, she's already been through this. This ain't her first rodeo. This ain't Meleys' first rodeo. They are tight because they trust each other in battle because they've done it already. But Aemond was totally going to kill his brother. Aemond was totally going to kill him. You can't change my mind. And even when Cole runs up on him, and he's like, no. Now, the stuff with Cole, and we know we hate Kristen Cole. But the stuff with Cole, I really liked because for once, to the audience that isn't book readers, you get to, and for us too, we get to visually see the destruction these things can do. You have to remember these things are nuclear warheads to these people. This isn't like, oh, cool. This is, oh, shit. And I don't know if you guys want to be burned to death, but that's what dying by dragonfire is. Now, you have to also remember that dragonfire in this world is way, way hotter than any other fire. They are being cooked alive. You are being cooked in your metal armor. So when Cole goes walking up and puts his hand on that armor, and we see it fall to dust, he's realizing this ain't no game no more. I was mad at my ex, and I'm acting foolish out here now. What the shit? Because this is not a good way to die, and they're going to die by the thousands. And for once, I do feel like this world is kind of getting the numbers right, and I'm not hating on it for those other things, but like the Battle of the Bastards, that looks much smaller. And we haven't got that in the book yet, but like in the books, the numbers are in the 20,000s, the 50,000s. They're huge. And so this looked how we've read it, is what I'm saying. I'm not hating on those other ones. They're fantastic. What I'm saying is, wow, they finally really are showing just how many bodies are out there, and we're showing the destruction these things can do. And it's really hitting home with Cole and with others, because the only people that really understand that are Rhaenys, who's gone now, Rhaenyra, who hasn't visually seen it, but was constantly told by her father, Daemon, and others that have been through this, because others are just like, oh, dragons, that's cool, we have them on our side, until you see what they can do to either side, even your enemy. But yeah, Aegon going down, he kind of just becomes, like Harvey Two-Face. Yeah, he becomes like all jacked up and drinking milk of the poppy, which is essentially like heroin, poppy fields, you know. He's on opiates. He's eating perks all day long. That's all you need to know. And he's kind of jacked up and doesn't really join in on the fighting ever again, but his dragon definitely does not. But neither one of them die in the book, so because there's still really big things they need to do. But at what cost are we doing this war? And I did like, okay, I'll be honest, the prophecy shit is dumb to me. It's dumb to me, but I guess it gives a focal point, but we're kind of just willy-nilly shoehorning that in where we need it. But I did like the Rhaenyra voiceover to Jace while Rhaenys was getting on her dragon, while Aegon was getting ready. And I'll say this, I hope people know that I'm not taking anything away from any of these actors just because I get like, oh, no, this is my character, I love them. Does not mean that I don't love Otto Hightower telling people off. Does not mean that I don't love, I think that actor that's playing Aegon, he's killing it. And you guys know how I feel over here. I think Interview with a Vampire deserves all the awards. I think that needs to be acknowledged at the Emmys. That is the best acting, the best everything, the best writing on TV right now. But I'm not taking anything away from House of the Dragon. I don't think the writing is as strong. I do think it's padded. But the acting, the production, I ain't sneezing at none of it. I think it's flawless. I think that actor doing Aegon, though, the fact that you can make me kind of give a shit says something. But he's funny. And I don't care what nobody says. Joffrey was funny. You loved to hate Joffrey. That was my ex. My ex's two favorite characters to watch was Joffrey, and then his favorite all time was Arya. So I'm like, green flag. But no, Aegon kind of gives a Joffrey vibe, but not totally. But let's all remember this. Can we all remember that he was a rapist, or is, and also went to child fighting pits where kids fought to the death with filed teeth and nails. And some of them were his bastards. So can we talk about that? So I'm not supporting this man ever. But acting-wise and production and everything, I'm blown away by it. And I just want to say that at the end because I think people think I just talk like this. That's all. But no, I'm very much enjoying it. I think it's very good. But there's some things where I'm like, cut the shit, HBO. And let's put it this way. It's not the show's fault. It's not anybody. It's HBO's fault because I can see it. And it's nothing that has to do with Game of Thrones. It's all over here going, you want to elongate this story out and give it more episodes so you have more money and so that the internet doesn't go, we saw what they did to Game of Thrones, and when they cut down the episodes, it got bad. And it's like, no. So that's what you're doing here, but instead you're giving us nothing. You're giving us Daemon walking around. A ghost! Like, I get it. I'm with you. But I'm not, because I'm like, I see what you're doing here, and it's bullshit. Because it's not fair to the actors and the writers and all that either if they want to do something better and you're going, no, we have to have this many episodes. You're putting them into a corner. I'm back, baby, and I'm Abby with MotorCityNerds. And tell me how you feel about this, because like I said, I'm not even trying to be mean. I might do a little video about it. I totally forgot about episode 3. That should not be happening. I'm on OF, I'm on TikTok, I'm on all the things down below. I was really cold a minute ago. Oh my God, did I leave my air on this whole time? I'm so sorry, you guys. But now I'm sweaty because I'm getting worked up.